Okay, I ran out of space, and so I said, so I wrote down some things about what I've been, it was the research paper that we that have this pressure wave in injury to the brain, we die early. It's the research. Now I'm refusing to die early. I believe in miracles. I believe in hidden science and unusual science. So I hope, I expect I will beat the challenges. So I've been able to only do so much that I didn't mention anything about, and I've found a piece of paper with written down some of the stuff I've been doing for helping myself and trying to live long, which is okay. Maybe it's not quite what I thought, but there's a product called the Root Brands. They have a detox and some other good products, but especially they have the world's best natural zeolite, clenoctellulite, which is a crystal. It's a mineral. So it comes in a liquid form. Sounds a little bit crazy and odd when it's a crystal. Zeolite. It's the nature's detox, and I've always, it's the research that I'm good at research. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, and there's something spiritual that was always there to. I used to find things real easily and really get to the heart of something really easily, and it's just an ability that I have. So the zeolite is important because we live in a lot of toxic environment, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, Did I say that? Food, air, water, breathing, food, air, water, eating, and just from our mothers and the connection with the navel string between baby and mother, the toxicity of the mother is babies are born unless the mother is really clean, right? Uh, Babies are born with some toxicity level that has to do with how much toxicity the mother has in her body and system. So we're even mostly born, to a large degree, born with a level of toxicity. And then we keep adding to that unless we have done a lot to detoxify. This toxicity circulates around in the body. And the problem with getting a brain injury is that the injury locations in the brain, they function as a sponge, that the toxicity that is circulating around in the body will be like, yoo-hoo, yay, permanent home. No need to circulate around in the body. So stuff like heavy metals loves brain injury for making a permanent home instead of circulating around. It's, of course, they don't have a consciousness and thinks of, look, here's a home, but it's just the, what's it called, analogy, symbolic language. The heavy metals will naturally sink into the brain injured location and stay there and accumulate there. So I found out really early, and I started detoxing with the zeolite, clenoptellolite, from Roots brands called Clean Slate. It's a really good product. Clean Slate, best in the world. Supposedly. And the Clayton, Thomas Clayton, he knows about, he was advising or something on other companies, on their products. And so he knows a lot about why he at the time claimed that their product is more refined and more, it's certainly not artificial, and it's really supposed to be superior. You know, should I hear about reason to try something other than like another zeolite, another clenoptellolite? I would check the discussion for sure to see if that could be relevant, of course. Um, I've tried something called nanosoma. It's yeah, Google and YouTube. It's very interesting. Nanosoma. There's a there's a company called another company again called Cincino. They have oil, especially good oils. Um, there's the fungus. I can't read. Um, clean. Yeah, so I used to have, before I moved out here to Sao Miguel, I used to have uh, a clean water system that I couldn't bring. It was too big, and I haven't been able to repurchase a system like that where I can make um, different types of super water, like like really, really, really clean water, and then make structured water, and mineralized water. I can print negative ions into the water, and I don't know what it's called, ionized water, negative ions. There's methylene blue, very interesting. Check out research with methylene blue, health-wise, of course. And especially in connection with red light therapy. So I've actually, for like a long time ago, like a year or two, I purchased a red light therapy lamp at the price of $1,400. It's still in America because the company is not shipping it outside of America. So I had a friend of mine's brother receive the lamp in America, and it's in Philadelphia, and I'm afraid of the cost to pay the tax and the tariffs. I've not been able to afford to try to have it sent here. I'd really like to have it so that I can have the combination of red light therapy and methylene blue water is supposed to be really special. I thought it was another list here. Shaga, the mushroom shaga powder. Uh, the brain injury, there's 8 different ways to scan the brain. Maybe there's more, but there's 8 typical ways to scan the brain for brain injuries. None of these ways can see. None of these ways of scanning the brain can see the injuries left by a pressure wave from an explosion. The pressure I was subjected to should have killed me instantly. It was 195 psi up to 400 psi. There's a 50% chance of death at 130 psi. There's death is usual and common, and that's at 200 psi, death is usual. And these fire extinguishers, they are loaded with pressure up to 400 psi to be able to press out the powder. They can sink to a level like 195 psi, and of course they can sink to lower than that. But I would say that this one from 1972 was not leaking in any way, since it kept that amount of pressure to explode in that way. There's a lot of research about the pressure waves injuries to the brain from Afghanistan, American soldiers in Afghanistan, Iraq. And so there's the knowledge that no scanning will see the injury pattern. So when these people, like a lot, have died for other reasons, then for some of them they cut the brain through, and then there's the injury pattern, which is honeycomb shaped. Only a pressure wave will leave a honeycomb shaped injury pattern in the brain. Not blunt force trauma and not medically induced brain damage. And only a pressure wave from an explosion is the only thing that leaves a very typical injury pattern that there's a lot of research about that. And people die early. I have a link with that research paper is under the YouTube video. I have back pain, spine pain. Inflammation in the brain is going into the spine, which is, I scream in pain. Not right now, but there's certain movements when lying down, especially lying down in bed. I'd really like to afford proper food for keeping inflammation low, the detox of the brain. I haven't been able to afford that in a proper way, as much as I should do that. The food for keeping inflammation minimal, I'd like that. And then there's the cooking problem, but still, I'd like to try. There's a new plant-based supplement that I've been reading about that I really want to try this to afford that. There's a lot of cost that I'm not able to keep up, and the buying food that goes bad is also a little bit of an issue, that it's wasted money, and sometimes I lose things because I leave things behind. I've even left a computer behind, like clothes. Yeah, so I'd like to have the water system for being able to make clean, pure, super water of different kinds. I have so many wishes for equipment. The red light therapy lamp, but there's also other equipment, frequency equipment that there's another supplement that's really expensive, C60. I'd really like to try C60. It's very expensive. Carbon 60 for keeping inflammation low, and yeah. It's such a problem to say. Things that easily become very long. So I think this is it's hard to start saying to say something, and it's hard to end to say something. It's so I'm just gonna say that's good enough and cut it.